It's
I,
a
wo-
tough one to answer.
I worked with psychopaths for a while during my studies, and one of the things I had a great psychologist who was my mentor, and he shared some of his horror stories, and he said that people one of the things he was looking out for was when people would show up with a mask, like they would present to you who they want you to believe them to be, like,
Mhm.
and he said whenever there was somebody who was too fast in looking behind that illusion that this person wanted to cast on you, he said something would happen that was called narcissistic rage. Or he
Mhm.
said like he would attack that person, and it's like I really believe that this is one of the reasons why in movies vampires destroy the mirrors to some degree, because it's actually like a good indicator to see if you are on the more on the goodness or the evil side of life. Like how do you treat with
Yeah.
different opinions, and if you want to destroy them, like
Yeah.
you know
Have you
what
ever,
community you go to.
I don't know if you watched it or not. I think it was originally based off a podcast, but it was called Lore, like Lore. Um, they did, I think there was like two seasons of it, but it's interesting because it looks back into history and takes like explains the origination of stuff. So like one of them is vampires, right? And that was basically a thing in wherever, I can't remember where exactly, but it was like down in the States or something like that in like the, 17, 1800s. They would basically, if somebody died in their family, they would bury them, and then like they had to wait like a couple weeks or something like that, and then they would basically open up the casket, and if they still had like color in their face or whatever, then they were a vampire, because that means that like their body wasn't dying or whatever, right? But instead it ended up being that they fucking buried them outside in the middle of the winter, and so they just like they didn't decompose because it was cold out, and it's just but next thing you know, we've got people think they're vampires, right? And they're coming out of their casket at night just because they still have rosy cheeks. But it's like the very simple things where we're like, huh, like it's kind of crazy, but yeah, it's just interesting. Like I said, that lore one is crazy because again, it just proves these very common things that we look at today and explains the like the crazy bullshit that we as humans are like, oh no, like it's like, no, we made that up completely. We'll perceive things the way we want. We'll make up stories if we want.
I was once in Colombia with my dear friend Richard Berg. If he listens to this, shout out to you, another great actor you need to meet. And we were getting lost at the beach, and we were seeing some lights and walking towards them. And while we were marching to them, the flood was coming to us, so that we couldn't walk back on the beach. So we had to climb up a hill and walk to a swamp. And of course, we're two Westerners. We have never been through a swamp. We made up all different kinds of fears that emerged for us. So I took a big stick
Yeah.
to arm myself instead that something would hurt us. And I remember like we were holding hands because we were so afraid. So it was a terrible picture of lack of courage. And my stick touched his last leg, and he screamed like a girl, said a crocodile is attacking me. And we're
Yeah.
just running like crazy to back to the hotel, and told everybody that a crocodile attacked them, until they said to us, guys, there are no
Like there aren't
crocodiles
even crocodiles.
in this area. In Colombia. And we just realized it was just us being little bitches. And okay,
Yeah.
let's forget. Anyway, okay, if you and then we're gonna wrap it up a little bit. If our ancestors would left us an advisory letter in an aspect of what we are going through, what do you think it would say?
Oh geez, who knows? The world isn't going to be destroyed by 2050. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it would be pretty interesting. I mean, again, the time capsule stuff is interesting. I don't think we have to go that far to really have, again, like I said, that the fact with like news being perceived as completely different things now versus 20 years ago only, right? So I think if you were to go into the future or the past by any number of years, who knows, you know? But yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know.
I would also trust you with, but I would like to have a couple of rapid fire questions before until we come to that. Um, what's your favorite word, Cameron?
Fuck. No,
Least, what's your
favorite
least
favorite
favorite word?
word.
Oh, yeah,
I
no,
don't
you
know.
can elaborate, of course.
Least favorite word, moist. No.
Moist.
No. Um, no, I don't know. I don't know. That's actually a good question. What's my favorite word? I don't even know. Probably word. I say word all the time. No. See, like I wish there's probably like some very insightful word that I could use, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my favorite word would be. I think, yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. Least favorite word, I think would have to be, it's almost like not a word, but like you know, what am I trying to say now? I think I think it's like, what am I trying to say? It's like it's not the word that I dislike, it's more like the action behind the word, as far as it being almost what we were talking about earlier, where it's like, communication and lack thereof, it's like if we could just figure out how to communicate better, the world would probably be a better place. So yeah, maybe that, like, not necessarily the word, but you know, the meaning behind it, I guess. Oh, that's funny.
It's
I
I
just
talked with
I just got an
Gary,
email from
Gary
favorite
about this,
word.
and it's like it's a mutual friend of ours, Gary Files, and he said that one of the things that accelerated the degeneration of our culture is copywriting. He said that at some
Right.
point we started to use writing to generate leads and make money rather than honoring the word as a divine cornerstone of our civilization. But that was very interesting. Um,
Mhm.
an author you would like to have dinner with, dead or alive?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think, like I said, I was never really crazy into like books or anything, but
Or a person or originator. And the author means founder, originator, pioneer, somebody who did some creative shit.
yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty standard for me. Like it would just be, even being able to have a conversation with some of the like the directors and everything. I think Guy Ritchie would be a pretty interesting guy to just have a conversation with, just because he seems like an interesting guy. Tarantino as well, but maybe I wouldn't want to have a conversation with him because he's a little bit crazy. But it's funny. I actually remember. I can't remember who it was or what. Sorry, 2 seconds. I've been super busy. It should be around in an hour and a half. I might stop by. Yeah, if anything. Sorry, my landlord's just messaging me here.
No problem.
Oh, that's not him. Fuck. What's going on here? There we go. Sorry.
An author to have dinner with, and you said something already.
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna just go off about a story. I can't remember what it was, who it was. It was someone talking about Tarantino, and it was about cocaine. And I think they said that if you ever want to just like not do cocaine, hang out with Quentin Tarantino and somebody else while they're on it or something, because he just fucking goes off about the dumbest shit ever. I was like, yeah, I can imagine that. But yeah, anyways, I don't know. I mean, I kind of think it would be more like stereotypical kind of, I would think actually it would I would say Jesus, be that guy. Or like someone like I think someone religious, some one of the people that, because for me I'm not crazy into religion. Like I believe in whatever I believe in, I don't hate people for believing in their own religion and stuff. It's, again, we need faith, we need hope. So have hope and faith in whatever you feel. But I find it interesting how much, I'm one of those believers that I think that we'd be much better off without religion.